first of all, thank you, Dr. Ramadevi Garu. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you, Miraj, for joining us today. And I'll do a very quick 1-minute intro and then we'll get started. So we know that in Telangana today, we have about close to 8,000 startups. So it's all of this has happened over the last 10 years. What is not often talked about is how many incubators have been playing a role in building up the startup ecosystem, right? So about 10 to 11 years ago, it was essentially a couple of incubators. So one was obviously ISB's D Labs, and then TiE Hub commenced in 2015, and then of course a whole lot of others came into play. So today we have close to now about 80 plus incubators. Some are public-private, and some are of course academic incubators. So what I'm going to be starting with, and I'll start with you, Miraj. Miraj, you have been involved in running a private incubator, and now you've been running a public-private incubator. So very quickly, if you could give us a quick overview of the mission of TGIC and what makes it different, what makes it unique, right? And then what's the kind of impact which you've been able to create over the journey of TGIC?
Thank you so much, MSR. And thank you for this question, because incubators is something that's really close to my heart. And this is a path that I chose myself very consciously, unlike engineering that we are usually pushed into. Mainly for the fact that I think incubators are going to be the lifeline of our country, given the cultural and the spiritual talent that we have in our country, just by the virtue of our population. And I believe, considering the fact that majority of our population is youth, we need a lot of incubators that will help incubate these ideas and take them from whatever they are to the next level, which is why I very strongly believe in this. But it was not like this always. I fell in love with the whole incubator model thing after I saw Stanford's incubator in the US on a very accidental trip there. And then I stayed there to learn how it all works, right? And just the fact that Stanford as a campus alone produced, more than 50% of US's GDP, fascinated me. And why can't we do the same thing? But then there are also, very important factors and metrics that we often just choose to ignore, or maybe we don't see, like the fact that, US spends about 9% of its GDP on startups and investment, right? About 4% goes on research and development, right? And we cannot afford to do that because maybe that's not our priority. But can we make that our priority? It's primarily what I'm doing in my current role with TGIC, with our mandate. And in fact, that's also our tagline, Intinta Innovator, which is Ghar Ghar Innovator, right? And until and unless we try to foster that culture of innovation throughout the state and eventually the country, I think, it's a long way for us to become a superpower that we eventually want to become.
Before I go to Ramagaru, one last question, follow-up question, Miraj, is in terms of, how do you actually measure impact in the work which you are doing?
Great question, but a very difficult one, because it's a very long-term game. It was on Prashant's panel that I heard one gentleman say, and it stuck with me. It's a very long-term game. In fact, impact is not just tangible, it's just not numbers. It's both tangible and intangible. In fact, numbers can scale easily. It's very easy for us to look into numbers and multiply them with whatever. That's not the case with impact. But the thing with impact is impact also scales. A lot of time, ROI cannot and need not just be return on investment, but also return on impact. And how do we measure that is with respect to the number of new innovators that we can pull into the ecosystem, plus the result, right, of whatever we are doing as a collective ecosystem, I believe is eventually going to reflect on the kind of impact that we have managed to deliver. So for me at TGIC, impact just doesn't mean the number of innovators that we are bringing into the pipeline, but also the number of youth that we are taking off the unemployed job market. the number of solutions that they're bringing on the table in the market that are going to simplify the lives of many more people, right? Let's say assistive technology, right? How it's going to help, the PWDs, so on and so forth. So the spectrum is very wide. It's not a straight answer, and there is no one metric for us to, associate with impact, in my very humble opinion.
Thank you, Miraj. Rama Garu, Rama Garu is one of Hyderabad's unsung heroes, right?
Heroine,
She's
sir.
been
Not heroine.
started ELIP about 32 years ago.
32.
32, right? And so, Ramagaru, if you can very quickly tell us a little bit about the mission of ALEAP and what is unique about ALEAP. I see a lot of young girls. I'm sure you have a very strong message for them. And then what kind of startups have you incubated, and also how are you measuring impact?
Thank you, MSR Garu. It's a great opportunity to address this August gathering. Talking about ELIP main objective is to empower women into entrepreneurship. And our focus is on sustainability. It's a big word called sustainability. So the total ecosystem consists of not only incubation, we have training institutes, we have industrial parks, we have our own credit delivery mechanism. During those years when there is no incubation, we started incubation. So with an idea that women, hands-on training, if you give them, they are able to scale up and get into business. This was the idea. Just training is not enough. So they need a support. They need to understand how a business works. So with this idea, we started incubation. Now our ELIP VHub, we call it. It's supported by Government of India under Atal Incubation Mission, Niti Aayog, and also from Ministry of Commerce and under SISF funding, and also Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Ministry of MSME, and also with other private initiatives. They are supporting our, first and foremost, I would like to say, sir, MSR Garu, we don't focus much on IT sector. We focus more on manufacturing and related to agri and food and textiles and other areas like electronics where women are more involved. So, and our focus is not looking at as an investor. I mean, we don't take equity in an startup, but we provide funding for the startup so that they can scale up and sustain. This is our main focus area and how we deliver incubation ecosystem. And other thing is we have an acceleration program also where we provide, many of you must be having ideas, but you do not have the infrastructure facility. The total infrastructure with the machinery is provided from ELIP VHub. So we have with the machinery or incubation. So whatever new idea you have, you can try your hands, you can try your product. Once it is marketable, you can leave our facility. This is unique in our incubation. I hope I answered you, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ramagaru. Dinesh ji, agriculture forms the backbone of our economy, right? Even today, north of 50% of our people are employed in agri. And ICRISAT is one of the oldest organizations in Hyderabad. And you are very, given your vast and varied experience, if you can very quickly talk through what ICRISAT is doing from a incubation perspective, and for those of the young people who don't know much about agri and who have ideas about wanting to build something, how will you support them? That will be useful.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, thank you for inviting me here and giving us a chance to brief about what ICRISAT is all about and what are the kind of work which we are doing as an organization. ICRISAT is the only international CGIAR organization which is headquartered in India. We have been for almost more than 50 plus years now. We have contributed a lot in terms of research and innovation, especially if focusing on dryland crops, right? If you ask me about the work which we have been doing in incubation space, so we are probably the first incubation center in the country, which was founded somewhere around 2002 and 3, which is currently, we have incubated more than 125 plus startups in this period of time. We have also been instrumental in supporting and capacity building of more than 22, 23 incubators in the country, as well as equal number across the globe as well. So we have been playing a very important role, not only in hand-holding with the other incubators in the country, as well as we have been supporting a lot of other incubators in Africa as well. Our focus right now is to see how we can enable and bring innovation to the last mile, right? We do a lot of work around agri-technology, agri-tech, precision farming. A lot of incubators are working around that. We also do have a NutriPlus Knowledge program where we do a lot of work around how to connect the research which is happening in ICRISAT and how to bring in those research actually to the end product, right? So that is the kind of work which we are doing. Most of our research goes into enabling and improving the livelihood of the small and marginal farmers. We do a lot of research in terms of working closely with these startups, supporting them in providing them the technology. We also engage the startup with the kind of research which ICRISAT is developing, so that there is a ecosystem which has been built that startups can be benefited by the research programs which we are doing or the new technologies which we are bringing on the ground. To add more, we are still trying to engage more with startups and private sector. We would like to engage with them and offer our technologies. So we are ready to open up the discussion if anybody is interested to work with us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh. So my request is we're standing between them and lunch, so we'll still try and finish it within the allotted time. So I will request you to keep your answers a little concise. So I'll start with you, Miraj. So let's say if there's a young person in the audience, who has an idea, right? And if you were to very quickly walk them through how, in what way can TGIC support a young person or a young team which has a set of ideas, if you can just walk them through that.
All right. So the process is very easy. You just have to go to our website, Telangana Innovation Cell's website, and just submit a very simple form with your idea and the kind of help that you need. While there are a lot of people that do this, I'll tell you what is the internal, I'm giving you the insider info right now. How do we, put different ideas in different buckets? It depends on the homework that you have done. A lot of people just, email us to ask what our website address is, right? So that pushes you behind. And that is not something that, we would want to look into. Although we do very, politely and respectfully respond to every request that we get. But I'm telling you, in a room of 200 people, if you really want to, get there and be seen, then you have to do the research, you have to do your homework, and you have to have very specific questions on what help are you seeking. It's like you walking into a medical store asking for a pill for your headache or stomachache, right? You don't go to a store and ask, hey, give me something, or what can you give me? So don't do that, be it TGIC, be it T-Hub, V-Hub, or any other incubators. There are about 78 incubators in Hyderabad. Do not do that with anybody. The minute you do that, you are basically getting grey listed in their minds, and these incubators won't be really, eager to look into your ideas further. So that's one. Two, funding is the most common question and the most common ask that every innovator or a wannabe entrepreneur has. And we all understand that, and we are not going to deny you the right to ask, but ask funding once you have qualified for it, right? And how do you qualify for funding is again one very important aspect of your research. See how are you going to position yourself, place yourself against your peers, right? People who have similar ideas, people who have similar products, people, who have, let's say, similar traction in the market, if at all. So see what can you do and get to a position of strength before you make that ask. So these two very important things, and I think you're good to go.
Thank you, Miraj. Rama Garu, the same question. If there's, let's say, a young team which comes up to you, what is the range of things which you can kind of support them with?
What is my advice, I know, to the youngsters is do not go on a path which is already there. Try to find a new path. Find your own way. Like what happens is we often try to copy others. That's not the right way of entrepreneurship. You have to create your innovation. You have to create your enterprise. This should be a mantra for this new generation. I think there is so much opportunity in our country. The total ecosystem is very friendly for enterprise creation. You look at the various schemes. Recently, we are offering schemes like Genesis, which offers 40 lakhs as a grant. It is not, I mean, you need not worry that there's no investor. Government ecosystem is wonderful for startups. Our SISF, they announced, that is from Ministry of Commerce, 10,000 crores. It is not a small amount. You all have the right to take this kind of funding. But only thing I say, and I also advise is, you have to have that pursuance, you have to have that strong will to become an entrepreneur and provide employment to others and also address issues which are of social impact. Like it's not that, everybody getting into services is not what we require. What we require, the country requires is the areas where there is a gap. So please address, and there's a huge support and ecosystem prevalent in our country. Thank you.
Dinesh, if an agri innovator / entrepreneur walks up to you at ICRISAT, in what ways can you support him?
So, first of all, when agri innovator or startup reaches us out, so we normally have a process where we evaluate the proof of concept and whether that technology is still ready for the market or not. Normally, most of the startups which we encourage to we incubated at our place is which has got certain proof of concept already in place, and where we see we can add value to it, which can be scalable, right? So once we see that, then probably we encourage them to onboard with us, and then we see how we can scale it up with the support of our research programs or the kind of network which we have. The best advantage for someone who is joining ICRISAT incubation center is basically the access and the network which you get from just one program is that you get not only the nexus or access of our research here in Hyderabad, but we have more research stations and offices all across Africa as well, right? So if anybody wants to explore the possibility of going global, especially in case of agri space, it can be nothing like getting incubated at ICRISAT. On an average, we have a lot of international delegates and right kind of partners who are walking into ICRISAT, and then they can easily get access of all those things, and they can get exposure to a lot of international clients as well as ecosystem partners. So that is the kind of benefit. If somebody wants to plan for a global outreach, we may be one of the best place to handhold with. Yeah.
Sure. So essentially what you're saying is expert advice, mentorship, global connections, network, funding, labs for testing, etc. are what you can help with. Yeah?
Yeah, we even have research facilities outside India as well. Yeah, so that is another thing where we can engage with.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to start getting to a little more trickier and tougher questions for the panel. Okay. So let me start with you, Miraj. The first, my question has multiple parts, but the first, and keep these answers short. Okay. I want everyone to have a say. So first of all, has the profile of the entrepreneur who's coming in today, has it changed over the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years? That's one question. Second is, sometimes a lot of the founders have come and told me they feel a little underserved by the incubators who exist, right? And the third, which is a very public question, is why are, in comparison to Bangalore, for example, why is it that Hyderabad is not producing as many unicorns? So 3 questions, right? The first one is, has the profile of the entrepreneur changed? Second is, where do you think entrepreneur needs are not being met by incubators. And the third is why are we not producing, enough unicorns? And, where are incubators falling short in the third part?
I'll start with the third question.
Louder.
I'll start with the third question, and apologies in advance if I'm going to hurt anyone. I don't mean to, not intended. But why are we not producing unicorns? Because, garbage in, garbage out, right? Any of the incubators, and I ran an incubator for 5 years, and I've been part of many incubators, and I learned how to do incubation at YC and Stanford and stuff. The most important raw material for any incubator to produce unicorn is the founder itself. If you cannot attract a good founder, you cannot incubate a good founder, and you cannot produce, forget unicorn, you cannot produce anything out of that founder. So I think all our efforts should go into identifying a pipeline of good founders or wannabe founders or good innovators who can become good founders and entrepreneurs later on. And for that to happen, we have to work at the foundation level. So that is the answer to your third question. Second,
What are the needs which are underserved?
again, a lot of entrepreneurs, while you're very welcome to walk into any incubator and seek for help, you should also qualify to seek that help, is what I basically have to say. Especially because of lack of resources. We have enough resources, but only for enough people, right? And this is also a reason why maybe we, when compared to Bangalore, we don't have enough numbers to show, right? So for that to happen, again, you have to understand everybody cannot do everything. And you have to bring good homework on the table and then say, hey, I've done this much, I need help with this much. And then if an incubator is not able to help you, then it's on us. But right now, I don't see that happening enough. So my qualms are with, the audience where, we don't get that kind of work, and which is why we are not able to do this. And your first question, has the profile of entrepreneur changed? Yes, it has changed quite a lot. 16 years ago when I started, it was very different. And today, when I see, it's very different. I think, again, I might hurt, but I'm sorry. I think we should stop calling, people who are getting started entrepreneurs and call them just unemployed until you get your first customer, right? Because you only get to job when you get your customer, right? So while it might sound and seem fancy, it means nothing, right? So profile of an entrepreneur has changed, and I think it has to change for good.
Valid point. Without customers, there's no enterprise. Yes, madam. Same 3 questions for you.
Yeah, I think the entrepreneur profile, I start with, I think it's changed a lot now because it's a noble task. Nobody is expecting them to become unicorns only, but they are the people who drive the economy. So we need to look at that. It can start with a startup, but scale up as a unicorn. This should be the objective of entrepreneur. And also I feel there are a lot of unsung stories, sir. It's happening in a big way. They may not belong to an incubation, but they are trying, and the whole ecosystem, as I said again, because recently I happened to be with AIM, sir. They asked me how you are sustainable. Because we are Section 8, we are a non-profit organization. We don't go for investment. I answered them saying that the industry ecosystem will make us sustainable. So industry, academia, joining hands to develop entrepreneurs is what is happening. I feel it's a great change. So the other aspect is moving from incubation, how we are able to sustain is also important. So I feel government need to address this, sir. We are only looking at startups, but startups leading to sustainability is very important, where they require infrastructure facilities, where they require access to funding other than investor. These kind of perception should be there. It's not only startups, they have to scale up. Then only there is, meaningful investment happens even with the government. So this is what we look forward to, because we are in the industrial scenario. We have industrial parks. We are very soon even thinking of creating a startup park. So this will help our startups to scale up. These initiatives need to be taken up by us and networks like with the TiE and other. You are also a father of innovation, sir. And this will really help our incubation ecosystem. All of us need to come together. This is very important to exchange ideas and also develop our own infrastructure and also ecosystem is what I feel.
Thank you. Dr. Dinesh, 1 minute answer for the 3 questions.
Yeah, so maybe I think a lot of things have been already said, but quickly my 2 cents. Like I started my career and I spent almost more than 2 decades working as a part of startup ecosystem. You can say some of them were large corporates, but doing something new. I was very part of those early stage innovations and all those things. What I see that over a period of time, the profile of entrepreneurs in the country has definitely changed, which is good and encouraging as well. Secondly, I will come to your last question where you are asking that why we are not seeing a lot of unicorns coming up, and especially if we compare Bangalore versus Hyderabad. I would like to take it overall as a country that why we are not getting a lot of unicorns coming out of incubators is largely, I think a lot of things has to do with it is a systemic problem, right? So the whole idea of creating incubators and what was the whole idea behind like how many startups can be created. So lot of thirst has been given on number of startups which are incubated, rather than the quality of the startups which are being incubated or the kind of innovations they are going to bring in, whether those are going to be scalable or not. We work largely in agri and food space, though we work with a lot of FPOs as well. So maybe it is too early to have, though in India also we have seen a lot of FPOs who have got great success stories, but overall it is a long way to go. Secondly, I see that lot of unicorns which came up in country like India were not from the sectors which were being targeted or focused by these incubators, right? So the incubators are having the startups which are from the different sectors, largely from agri and all, which may be not of interest of investors and all, right? So the investors might be focusing or supporting the startups which can get more traction, more number of customers and all those kind of thing. So that is another thing which we have to closely examine. What kind of startups are incubators bringing in and what actually industry is looking for, right? Thank you.
So you said quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
Several points that. Okay, very quickly, we have exactly 1 minute. So 30 seconds for each one of you. How can the 80 collaborators in Hyderabad collaborate better between themselves? 30 seconds for you, Miraj.
Talk and the spot. It's very simple. I think we have to burn the bridges, right? And there is no competition and there is collaboration. And it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes a whole ecosystem to raise one successful startup. And for the country, this is something that we have to understand, that we are not doing this for our incubator, our state. We are doing this for the country, and every step in the right direction strengthens our country is what we have to understand. With that purpose in mind, I think we will remove all the roadblocks.
Ramagaru.
Instead of competing, we better collaborate. And I think, every incubator got their own strength. We better share their ideas and all. I feel there should be a uniform dashboard where we can change. Suppose I can support under a MITI or something. If there's a best startup in another incubator, I can support. It should be like give and take and this kind of
so shared investor networks, shared mentor networks.
Funds and shared knowledge. All this is important, sir. Every incubator got their own USP. Strength. So let us share it. That should be my...
Dinesh, the last word, 30 seconds.
So the thing, what I have seen that once you share, once you collaborate, when you do the partnership, the whole ecosystem grows. So if you keep sharing the information, you keep sharing the resources, and you keep introducing people to the network, it always helps to grow the whole ecosystem. And at the end of the day, everyone is going to be benefited, right? So let's not work in isolation. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We finished on the dot. Okay. So we'll throw I think we can have Harish 5 minutes. So we can throw the floor open for questions.
Right. I see one kid putting his hand up. So I'll go there first and then maybe I'll come back to you. Yes. Hello, everyone. I have one question. For example, if you invest in my startup and it's not that successful, and I'm not able to repay the money that you invested into my company, what are the consequences to that from your side as an investor?
The beauty.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Question is
That's that's a beautiful question. So, Mr. MSR, I think you'll be the best person to answer this.
So first of all, sorry, what's your name?
Shreyas.
Shreyas.
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer. Okay, good. Okay, so very quickly, short answer. Investing follows what we call the Pareto principle, okay, which is 80-20. So 20%, so let's say, for example, hypothetically, if I was running a 100 crore fund and I hypothetically invest 5 crores in each company, the general expectation, the way the investing world works, is out of the 20, 2 or 3 will do really well, 5 or 6 will be kind of okay, what I call the living dead, neither dead nor living, and about 10 will die, right? So now the only thing we can look for is, obviously during the process of selection, we screen to see, we address what I call 5 T's, and I'll very quickly tell you the 5 T's any investor looks for. One is the team, second is the total addressable market, third is the technology, fourth is the current traction, and the fifth is what we call trench or moat, right? So we look at these. So for example, if you say I'm going to send a man to the moon, for example, tell me what in your background, can demonstrate to me that you understand the complexity of trying to send a man to the moon, right? And so on. So these 5 T's, and then the 80-20 rule, right? So we hope to have some winners, but we are also cognizant we'll have some losers.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that answers the question. Shreyas, another question coming your way.
Good afternoon to everyone, to the esteemed panelists and the audience here. My name is Rumana Sinha Sehgal, and thank you for your valuable insights as well. My question, rather than a question, it would be great to have your perspective on something. In terms of incubators and accelerators, designing long-term policies for long goal associations and achieving longevity for innovation capacity beyond startup metrics. What would be your perspective on that? How can we achieve it beyond just funding and getting the numbers up from the venture capitalists who are investing in startups? It's open to anyone.
So I think answer from an impact matrix. Okay.
So I'll tell you my general philosophy of incubation. All ideas can be incubated, but all ideas don't have to be incubated. Now, if there is a great founder with a good idea, walking into my incubator, I will not let him go or her go, right? I would do anything and everything to incubate them and multiply the outcomes, right? If it's going to be, let's say, $100 million business in 5 years, I would try and make it a $200 or $300 million business in 5 years. So that technically would be my focus. But we also understand, and we have to understand that this might not be a possibility in all the cases. There are some times we take bets on ideas and founders that we realize are too early, but somebody has to take that first step, because that will set the tones and inspiration for others to look at it and get things started. My personal example, Sequoia reached out to me in 2014 when I started India's first coding bootcamp. And that conversation was put on hold because they said that they did not have enough numbers to support this investment thesis at this point in time. We were category creators. I later on sold that company in 2019 to an Australia-based company. But exactly in 2 years, Sequoia reached out to me to help them with technical due diligence of an exact same startup that they wanted to invest in, right? So if it was not for the hacking school, and I'm taking the credit to myself, if it were not for myself, I don't think, investors would have started looking into this industry and, maybe follow up with an investment into another startup. So somebody has to take that first bet, which might not even be the right bet. I'm not sure if I've answered your question.
Right. So, Mr. Sir, Chief, another perspective or?
We'll ask Ramagaru and Dinesh ji to.
I think it all depends on what our startup looks for. In our case, it's not the investment. We make them a livelihood. Like, see, there is so much happening in, we address a lot of MSMEs where there's a lot of need for technology embedding. Like you need, a lot of startups to build this technology around MSME sector, like, conservation of energy. All these are a great scope. The goal should not be like, you are looking at an investor who will take, there is so much, as I repeat again, ecosystem prevalent, on your own. I have a daughter who has left her job and she started. She was vice president in Procter & Gamble. I said, why you are not going for an investor? She said, I don't want to toil for him or her. She wanted to build her own empire. So that is how they look at it. Not everybody looks at an investor as the last mile in success, It is the success is your own building up your company and achieving it, and the last, sustainability, providing employment and a social cause. All this is success. So the perception of how you look at it is very important.
Fantastic. Thank you so
So
much. Dinesh, sir.
I will just say one thing, that sometimes there may be a great idea, but the timing may not be the correct, right? Or you may not be fortunate to get the right marketplace. I have seen a lot of great successful ideas who were not able to become unicorns. There was another person who did the same thing but at a different time, right? So it matters, like when you are starting, where you are starting, and it is as ma'am mentioned, that it is not always necessary to raise fund. I've seen a lot of companies who have gone all alone for, let's say, 10 years, and then they become very big, right? So it all depends. It's not like we should not always run for the funding support. There may be sometimes it may pull you back rather than taking you forward. Yeah. Thank you.